Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi, this is Muhammad Imran. I hope you're doing well. We'll discuss different topics in the field stylistic, which is one of the branch of applied linguistics. In fact, the area stylistic is very interesting, especially for those who are conducting their researches in the field stylistic, or those who want to do their researches in the subject stylistic. We'll try to identify for you some research areas and research gaps where you can conduct your research. So, I hope you will find these lectures very informative, fascinating, and captivating. Let's start our lecture. Before we define what is stylistics, what are the different branches of stylistic, and what are the different areas where the students can conduct their researches, we should define what is style. So let's discuss what is style. Introduction to style. If you read the newspaper, you will find that newspaper has its own style, novel has its own style. If you read poetry, you will find poetry has its own distinctive style. Even within a particular genre, we can talk of different style. For example, the style of sonnet is different from the sonnet of elegy, and the style of elegy is different from the style of ode, because ode has its own style, elegy has its own style, sonnet has its own style. Similarly, lyrical poetry has its own style, and epic poetry has its own style. And if we come and we talk about drama, so drama has its own different style, which is different from poetry, and so on. So we can say that in different genre of literature we have different style, and sometimes even within a particular genre of literature we can find different style. So they all have their different style. Therefore, when we talk about the style, it may be the style of a particular genre, or it may be the style of particular person. Because Shakespeare has his own style, Milton has his own style, Bacon has his own style. So even that style varies person to person. If I write, so I will have my own style, and if you write, you will have your own style, right? And if someone else writes, so he or she will have his own style. So every person's style is different from another person. And similarly, that we can find that every genre is written in different style. So for example, we say that Milton, grand style, Shakespeare style. So the style of Shakespeare is different from the style of Milton. And it is also said that no individual can copy the writing style of another person. There were some conspiracy theories about the work of Shakespeare. Some claim that the work of Shakespeare was actually written by Bacon, while others claimed that the work of Shakespeare was actually written by Marlowe. But if we study the style of Marlowe and if we study the style of Bacon, so we discover that their style were quite different from the style of Shakespeare. So it means that the work of Shakespeare was actually written by Shakespeare, and Shakespeare is the author of all the plays which he produced. So it means that no individual can copy the style of another person. No writer can copy the style of another person. So every writer and every poet has his or her peculiar and individual style. So they have different choices of words. If we consider and we focus, so the choice of words of Shakespeare is different from the choice of words of Marlowe and Bacon. So that's why that we come to the conclusion that the work that is produced by Shakespeare was actually the work of Shakespeare. Because the choice of words of Marlowe, if we study the dramas of Marlowe and if we study the dramas of Shakespeare, so we discover that the choice of words of both writers are different. So they have different choice of words, choice of lyrical item, syntactic style, etc. Because the syntactic style of Shakespeare is different from the syntactic style of Marlowe and Bacon. So therefore, that it is the style which differentiate Bacon and Marlowe from Shakespeare. So no one or no individual style is different from another one. So we come to the conclusion, so one individual style is different from another one. So like two person cannot have the same writing style. It's not possible. So in a nutshell, one individual style is different from another one. We can't have one style of two people, right? So no individual can copy the style of another writer or another person. Same is the case with speech. When people speak, they have different styles. When I speak, so my speaking style is different than your. And when you speak, so your speaking style is different than mine. So it means that every person or every individual speaking style is different from another one. In terms of choice of words, in terms of syntactic structure, in terms of tone, in terms of pitch. So there would be a lot of variation when one person speaks than another person. For example, when Imran Khan, he speaks, so his speaking style would be different from the speaking style of Nawaz Sharif. Imran Khan, choice of words, his syntactic structure, right, the way he speaks, so that would be different from Nawaz Sharif. Similarly, that when another political leader, Bilawal, when he speaks, so his speaking style would be different from the speaking style of Maulana Fazlur Rahman. So it means that everybody speaks with a peculiar style, with a particular style. So nobody can copy the style of another person. Therefore, when we say stylistic, so it is the study of style. So this is okay. We come to the conclusion that what is style? When we say stylistic, so stylistic is the study of style. Now, usually when we study stylistic, we connect it with literature. Now, the literary stylistic, that is why we say style is fiction, style is poetry, style is drama. We should not forget style is the man. So most of the time when we say stylistic, so what comes in mind? Literature. And when literature come in mind, so then we talk about poetry, we talk about drama, and we talk about novel, we talk about prose, and so on. So you don't have to forget that style is the man, because every man's style is different from another one. Even that one teacher speaking style, writing style, all are different from another one. So one political leader style is different from another one. Similarly, that one poet style is different from another one. Similarly, that one dramatist style is different from another one. And even that when you speak and you are orator or you are a leader, you are a motivation speaker. So you see that we have different motivational speakers. So every motivational speaker style would be different from another one. So it means that style is a man. And that is style that we can understand that how one person is different from another one. When the words are there on the page, if it is prose, then you can have a paragraph. You will have complete full lines from one end of the page to another end of the page. So there will be long paragraph, short paragraph, and even one sentence paragraph. When you look at these paragraphs, you will realize it is written style of prose. So it means that from the writing style, you can say that it's a prose. It's not poetry, because poetry is written in different style, while prose is written in different style. So it is style which differentiate poetry from prose. If you look at another text which has short, long sentences, lines are broken, and there may be some rhyming as well as there may be rhythm or no rhythm. So you can call it, it's a poetry, or this style, this is the style of poetry. Similarly, when you see the names of the people and words in front of you, and you will say it's a drama. So that is graphology. When you look at the structure of words, within that you will discover that some words are bold, some words are underlined, and some words are italic. So that is to be noted that certain words ideas are emphasized. So here you will know that what is drama, what is poetry, what is prose. Now the question is, why do we emphasize and stresses? If it is speech, you have to put stress on that, and if it is writing, you have to highlight it then. When they are highlighted, the writer wants you to remember it, or the writer wants you to focus on it. Example, he. If that is because now it is capitalized, it is also capitalized, and is also. So the writer wants you to focus on it. There is something important, right? The he or the person might be important. That's why that it is capitalized. So he is the man, and he is, here is capitalized. I is, it is capitalized because the verb might be important. And he is the man, and he is the man. So sometimes the would be capitalized for emphasis. So he is the man, and sometimes the noun man might be emphasized. So to emphasize a word, so what does a writer do? He write it in capital letter, or sometimes it might be highlighted, or sometimes it might be might be written in italic. So the purpose of writing in italic or to highlight it or to write in capital letters, because the writer wants you to focus on it. There is something important about he. There is something important about is. There is something important about the article the, or there is something important about the man. So when the writer wants you to focus, so he does what? He italicizes the word, he capitalizes the word, or he highlights the word. Generally, style is defined the particular way by which something is done. So it's a manner of doing things. For example, that one bowler style would be different from another one, or one batsman style would be different from another one, or one person walking style would be different from another one, or one person speaking style would be different from another one, or one person dressing style would be different from another one, or one person sitting style would be different from another one, or one person looking style would be different from another one, okay, or one person driving style would be different from another one. One person dealing style would be different from another one. So generally, when we define a style, so we say that style is the particular way by which something is done, or it's a manner of doing things. But in stylistic, style has a different definition. So let's see that how can we define style. Now here we have the proper definition to style. What is style? Style refers to the way in which language is used in a given context by a given person for a given purpose, and so on. So next time when there might be several definitions to style, but for your ease we can say that style refers to the way in which language is used. It might be in literature, it might be in conversation, it might be newspaper, it might be in a book. So anywhere when the language is used in a given context. What is the context? While the context is political context, it's like educational context, right? You're like in a seminar where you are by a given person. So style is also affected by the context, and style is also affected by person and for a given purpose, and there will be also a purpose. That why a particular style is adopted, because The style of the newspaper writing is different than the style of like a textbook. Fine. And the style of a textbook would be different from the style of a poem. Right? Similarly, that the style of a poem would be different from the style of everyday life situation. So we also focus that what is the purpose that this style is used. So in this definition, we learned this style refer to the way in which language is used in a given context. So context is important by a given person. The person is important and for a given purpose. And what is the purpose that this style is adopted? Because if you're writing a poem, so you cannot write poem in a style of prose. Or if you're writing a prose, so you cannot write prose in the style of poetry. Similarly, that if you're writing a prose, so you cannot write prose in the style of newspaper writing. So every genre has its own particular style. To clarify this definition, we may adopt the Swiss linguist Saussard's distinction between langue and parole. Langue being the code or system of rules common to speaker of a language, for example, English, and parole being the particular uses of this system. So everybody then uses the same language differently in a particular context. Or selection from this system that speaker or writers make on this or that occasion. Now, one may say, for example, that certain English expression belong to the official style of weather forecasting, bright, intervals, scattered shower, etc. While other expression like lovely day, a bit chilly, etc. belong to the style of everyday conversational remarks about the weather style. Then pertains to parole, so it is selection from a total linguistic repertoire that constitute a style. So when we talk about style, so style is not langue, then it is parole. Because everybody has like a repertoire. Repertoire means that you have like a collection of words. And then on a particular occasion, on a particular context, you select some words and then you use. For example, we have given example to you when we use like bright, intervals and scattered showers, so we are using formal language. While if we say like a lovely day and a bit chilly, so our style would be conversational one. So everybody has a treasure or collection of words, okay, in their mind. For example, you speak English, so you have vocabulary of English, right? You have a complete repertoire of English language. But then you choose some words or some of like the knowledge of a language on a particular occasion. So then when you use different like words or choice of words on different occasion, so then you are using different style, right? You might be like in a formal seminar, so your choice of words would be different. Or if you are with a friend, so then your choice of words would be different. And if you are in front of your teacher, then your choice of words would be different. And when you are in the front of, you are sitting in a cafeteria, then your choice of words would be different. So then we can say that it is parole which is the style, not langue. Because langue, that this is like a common code and everybody knows about these code. And then the selection of these system, from the codes, then it is called parole, which is similar to style. Style. In practice, writers on style have differ a great deal in their understanding of the subject, and one source of disagreement has been the question, to what or whom do we attribute style? This is okay that the stylistician, they differ that to what or whom do we attribute style. Now, in the broadest sense, style can be applied to both spoken and written. When we speak or when we write, so style can be applied to both. So both are literary and everyday varieties of language, but by tradition it is particularly associated with written literary texts. And this is the sense of the term which will concern us. So it's mean okay that there is diversity or among the stylistician. They to whom or to what we attribute style. The style can be, they are asking question that should we consider style of spoken language or written language? So it can be taken for both because the writing style and the speaking style. But when we come and we talk traditionally, so then we associate style with written language and particularly the language of literature. Within the field of literary writing, there is again scope for varying definition and emphasis. Sometimes the term has been applied to the linguistic habit of a particular writer, the style of diction or prose, etc. Or other time it has been applied to the way language is used in a particular genre, period, school, or writing, or some combination of these epistolary style, early 18th century style, euphemistic style, or the style of Victorian novel, etc. So it means that even within literary writing there is diversity and varying definition to style. Like sometimes the style is applied or style is meant like the linguistic habit of particular writer. Or sometimes style is meant or style is applied to the way language is used in a particular genre like poetry, drama, novel, etc. Right? So even that within literary writing there are varying definition to style. So all these uses seem natural and serviceable. It would be artificial to limit our understanding of style to one of them, let us say authorial style, and exclude the other. The only assumption one make is in using such expression is that there in the corpus of writing referred to there are some characteristic uses of language which are capable of abstraction as a style. Thus, style is a relational term. We talk about the style of X referring through style to characteristic of language use. So because one person's style is different from another person due to the characteristics of the language a person uses and correlating these with some extra linguistic acts which may call the stylistic domain. The X writer period etc. define some corpus of writing in which the characteristic of language use are to be found, but the more extensive and varied the corpus of writing, the more difficult it is identify a common set of linguistic habit. This applies even to the concept of authorial style. Traditionally, an intimate connection has been seen between style and author's personality. This is urged by the Latin take stylu worm argued. The style proclaim the man and by many later studies and definition. So it means okay that the style proclaim the man. It is the style through which you identify that because it is the style through which we know okay that this is the style of Shakespeare. If you pick up like any drama of Shakespeare, for example, you study two drama or three dramas of Shakespeare and you don't know about the fourth or fifth drama and you pick up and you read their drama. So from the style you can say that it is the drama of Shakespeare, right? So Shakespeare wrote as many as 38 dramas. You may have not read all the dramas, but if you have read a few dramas and you pick another one that you don't know, from the style you can say it is the drama of Shakespeare. So it means okay that the style proclaim the man. Okay, so we can say this is the style of this writer, this is the style of this person, this is the style of this poet. The distinct style of a particular writer or a poet can also be identified because of the linguistic habit. Now, what is linguistic habit? Because there would be certain choice of words or syntactic structure that an author or a poet or a writer would constantly use, and because of that linguistic habit differentiate the style of one writer from another one. For that matter, all of us are familiar with the experience of trying and perhaps managing to guess the author of a piece of writing simply on the evidence of his language. Sometimes the author's identity is given away by some small detail reflecting a habit of expression or thought, and this seems to confirm that each writer has a linguistic thumbprint, an individual combination of linguistic habit which somehow betrays him in all that he writes. So it is a linguistic thumbprint, or it is the linguistic habit of a writer through which we identify his writing style. But the distinctiveness of personal style can be overemphasized even with a writer like Samuel Johnson, who seems to stamp his personality on all that he writes. There is a vast difference between the didactic and expository prose of the essay in the Rambler, the simpler narrative prose of much of Rasela, and the more informal discursiveness of his private letter. If it is difficult to generalize about the style of an author, how much more difficult may it be to generalize about the style of a genre or an epoch. The more general the domain, the more general, selective, and tentative are the statement about its style. So it means that it is not an easy to define a style. Even it is difficult for us to generalize about the style of an author, then how difficult it would be to generalize and define the style of a genre, right? So it means, okay, that to define a style, it's not an easy task. So this was all about the style, and inshallah in coming lectures we will discuss stylistics in detail, and there won't be a single lecture, there will be so many lectures in the subject stylistic, which will help the students in a research area and to fill the gap, and those who want to conduct their researches in the field of stylistic. So keep watching and please give me your feedback in comment box. Thank you so much.